What's up, guys? Welcome back to this episode of Manji TV. Today we're going to be talking about aerodynamics. Not just any aerodynamics, we're going to be talking about Wang. Big Wang. We have a BMW Motorsports M2 35iR racing wing here in my hands. It is beautiful. It is of the highest quality construction, full carbon fiber with some nice billet integrated. I don't actually know if these are billet or not. They look billet or forged. Brackets here to mount it to the uprights that mount to the trunk. We are actually going to be utilizing this BMW M Performance carbon fiber trunk, which comes with integrated mounting points, which we'll be showing you those here in a bit. Just to give you a quick peek, we're talking about these. So the trunk is really cool in the fact that it comes with a reinforced section of carbon fiber and some additional mounts you can purchase to mount your wing to this trunk. So we'll be showing you that stuff next. All right, guys, so before we get into installing this wing on my car, I want to talk about these parts and what they do and kind of why we have so many. Honestly, we did over order. There are some variations as far as what you can do with this wing. Really customizable. There are different end plates, which I'll start with here, showing you. These are the two different end plates that are specific for the BMW M235 and M240iR racing cars. Here on my left, you have the original M235iR racing wing end plates. And here on my right hand, you have the M240iR racing wing end plates, which were updated in late 2019 when they integrated the B58 engine into the M240iR racing cup car. Nonetheless, they have basically utilized the same bolts and washers, but created new part numbers to go with the end plates. So we actually have duplicates here. We'll show you this stuff later at an up close look, but they basically use the same hardware. It looks like there's a slight difference. One has a dot on the head, one doesn't, but it's the same length, same bolt. Same goes with these washers. So we've actually double ordered our hardware here on accident just because we weren't sure the variances and we just wanted to make sure we had everything for the job. We will be making a complete kit and putting this on the website, so you guys can go to the links below, check out all the products, and purchase them as needed. We'll be selling them individually as well as a kit. There are some different uprights that BMW created for these cars. These are specifically the 235iR and 240 uprights. Now, this is the same center section, this carbon fiber wing section, as the M4 GTS. The only difference is the M4 GTS has a much shorter upright. There are also a bunch of reinforcement plates that BMW makes for the variation of trunks, whether you have a standard M2 trunk, a M2 M Performance trunk, which utilizes these special mounts here. We'll be dropping the parts number for these down in the bio as well. But basically, if you have the M Performance trunk, there are specific mounts. We're gonna be utilizing those to mount this wing to this trunk. If you had a factory M2 trunk, there are some other mounts. We'll be linking those as well in the description. Unfortunately, we don't have those here today to show you, but they're essentially like a little bit similar to this, but bigger. And it's essentially a whole plate which ties in the brace that your trunk bolts to and the trunk plate itself. Very similar to the M4 GTS if you look at those. And that is also another component we'll be linking links to down below for those of you that want to run this wing on your M3 or M4 F8X generation car. Basically, this will bolt on any generation car ever from BMW, but specifically the F8X platform has factory options you can purchase to make it a very seamless fit, and that's what we're going to be doing today. So before we move on to the install, let's get a quick little time-lapse overview of these parts, and yeah, we'll get on to installing it on the car. It's very simple. It's going to be literally just bolting these onto the trunk, drilling a couple holes, flipping these over. These are used as a jig essentially to drill your holes on the trunk so you get it perfect. So that's really nice when you do upgrade to this M Performance trunk. We're gonna be going ahead and doing that right now. Super excited. I don't wanna talk much more. Let's just get onto this thing and see how it looks. All right, guys, before we do chop up this beautiful M Performance trunk, I did wanna talk about it. This is a factory BMW built carbon fiber trunk, part of their M Performance line. You can see it branded here in the back. What's really cool about this trunk is it kind of looks like it has a wing on it, but it doesn't, or at least a duck spoiler with this kind of partial duck bills here on the sides and missing section in the middle. Kind of looks like the modern F series wings that they've been putting on these cars. The other really cool part is it's totally a pre-preg construction, so inside and out is full carbon fiber. It's basically seamless. We do have the carbon fiber wrapped in a PPF and ceramic coated. They amazingly embroidered this thing with the M Performance logo. Beautiful touch there. And like I mentioned before, there are these 6 bolts per side, threaded holes. They come capped from the factory. You take the caps out and it has threaded holes, which we will use those brackets supplied to mount our wing to this trunk. But nonetheless here, amazing product from BMW you can buy for your base model M2 and competition model M2 as well as CS. They have a beautiful integrated place for your lever to go because you do delete the inner panel here. There is no place to put your inner panel. If you look at your factory trunk, there will be an inner plastic panel that's kind of carpeted. That you're removing for the sake of weight savings. This trunk saves about 20 pounds. We haven't actually weighed it. These are what we've read online. We will be doing a comparison from this trunk to the other trunk, although we're probably gonna have the wing on it though, so we may unbolt the wing to actually get some accurate readings, but nonetheless, look forward to that in another video. Beautiful piece, fits like OEM, 100% perfect gaps you can expect from a piece like this. You do have to put another logo on it. You do also have to swap over all the little grommets and buffer stops and your latch and wiring harness that routes through the trunk. Super easy to install, it just kind of tucks through there. We will be swapping this over to the car at a later video, but for the sake of just getting this wing installed, I want to see it on a car. I've been waiting for this thing forever, and so we're just going to go ahead and get it installed. But yeah, I mean, that's a quick look at the trunk. It's a beautiful piece of workmanship from BMW. And if you have an M2, you should definitely consider buying one of these. All right, guys, we have one mount installed here on the trunk. We've got it flipped upside down, so the little barrel section is facing us. I found a drill bit that fits this thing basically perfect. I don't know what size it is, but I'll let you know here in a bit. And we're just gonna run this drill bit through the trunk. So let's go ahead and do that. All right, guys, we've drilled 3 of the 4 holes. I'm gonna go ahead and drill the 4th hole, but I just wanted to walk you through it one more time. Those of you guys with a factory trunk, obviously it's gonna take a lot more work to lay out your left to right positioning. You'll have to find center line on your trunk, measure the width of the spacing between the wing mounts when mounted to the wing, and try and center them left to right, front to back as best as possible. We can cover that in a different video, but today we're just going to be talking about installing it here on one of these M Performance trunks and the differences in these parts that BMW provides. But nonetheless, you're going to go ahead and mount this mount on with the supplied shorter hardware. What I have been doing to make sure it's dead center, because there is quite a bit of play actually in this plate. I'll show you that here, how much play there is. You can see here how much this plate wobbles around. So I'm making sure when I lock it down to not only visually look through the hole and try to center it as best as possible on the mark. There's actually like a little witness mark of where to drill, but I'm also looking at the outer edges and trying to center those as best as possible with the material showing at the edge of the head. So a couple different metrics you can use to kind of center your hole, but nonetheless, you'll kind of want to make sure that it's not just all the way to one side via gravity, whatnot. So like I said, we'll kind of just move it up and down, find where we feel like center is. We're gonna give it a little snug. I think the torque on these is only 6 Newton meters, so it's not very much. So we're just giving it a little snug to make sure it doesn't move on us. Then we're gonna go ahead and drill it. Grab our drill bit. Just carefully run it through. And I wasn't drilling too hard, although on that particular one it did seem to eat the aluminum pretty good, but you just want to let the drill bit do the work. really liking this content, make sure to hit the like button down below, comment, and subscribe. We're gonna be dropping a lot more content on the race car and content like this in general, so be sure to stay tuned. We are also gonna be talking about this particular car behind us here. I know this isn't the race car, and we're putting this in the race car series, but this trunk and wing is actually gonna make it on the race car. So a little teaser here. We're gonna be introducing this car before we completely take all the components off of it, but essentially anything on this car is up for grabs to go onto the other car. So there are some other components we'll be showing you in a later video that I don't want to tease you with too much right now, but are gonna make the race car so sick. So stay tuned, be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and we'll see you in the next one.